Wow, we're back. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Extreme Makeover Part 2. Listen, we're excited to be here. We see some folk who are already in the chat. Listen, I'm Pastor
Yes,
Arthur.
yes.
This is my brother, Pastor Kaggia Scott. Man, Pastor Scott, round 2 last night. We had a great time, man.
Hey, we did. We had an awesome time. And the reason we're online, so like even if you missed it, you can go back and get it. So we're just grateful, man, for you all, everybody being here. I was just thinking about the Extreme Makeover, and I don't know if you all have seen these shows, these makeover shows. And what was coming to mind is like if you've been married for 20 years, sometimes you stop trying because you already got your woman, because you already got your man. And what a makeover usually is just showing you how to do some extra things to tighten up. Sometimes they can come in your own closet and just show you how to put some things together that you already have, that you hadn't been utilizing to make you look better, to make you more presentable. And what this makeover is for us, listen, some of these things, this ain't for just huge churches. Some things we have, but we just haven't taken advantage of. And this makeover is just giving us an opportunity to show us how to use the resources we have to do some extraordinary things in our community.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Yesterday, we had a great time talking to different specialists, man, from Bryant Herbert to we had just
mentors,
awesome nutritionists out of Huntsville, Donna Goodman, who came through and just blessed us. But I want to see where you are. Who's in the chat? We got Chattanooga, Tennessee in the house today. We got East Point in the house today. South Carolina, rep your state. We got
the whole state.
Heavy
the whole
in the house.
State of South Carolina is here.
Georgia's here. We got somebody from Pennsylvania who's here. Durham is here. Listen, we're almost at 100. What I need you guys to do right now, stop whatever you're doing. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. We're doing more giveaways today. We got a surprise for you later on today. I can't wait till you guys hear about it. Hashtag subscribe on the South Atlantic Conference page. We're gonna do some giveaways today. We giving away $50. We giving away $50 cash, and it may be more than one. So stay tuned, y'all. Stay tuned. Atlanta is in the house. Hinesville, Georgia is here. Listen, guys, we have a lot to get to, and we don't want to waste any time today. I'm always excited. Listen, for the opportunity and chance, and this is so cool, man. Even though we're in the virtual space, we can't be in the building. We got all these specialists here, but I'm so excited that we get a chance to do ministry with our president, Elder Winston. He's the bishop of the field, as we say, and I'm glad he's here. Elder Winston, Part 2. Elder, how are you feeling today? Happy Sabbath.
And I am great. After last night and after that start last night, I just couldn't wait to get back on this line today at 4 o'clock. I want to welcome all of those who were with us last night and those who are joining us for the first time this afternoon. You are going to be blessed abundantly today. I guarantee we have a panel of people who are going to help us finish this work. They're going to teach us how we all can be a part of it. And besides the distinguished guests and our host who do a tremendous job, this dynamic duo. I know somebody has used that name before, but still, what a dynamic duo you are. We appreciate your ministry and all of those who are part of this team. I have the privilege today, the distinct privilege of introducing right off the bat a special guest, a friend of mine that I have known for a number of years, but who now serves as the president of the North American Division, none other than Elder G. Alexander Bryant, who has taken some time out of his busy schedule. If I took the rest of the program, I couldn't tell you how busy this man is, but he has broken off some time to be with us today. Elder Bryant, welcome to South Atlantic. Thank you for being with us today. The time is yours.
Thank you so much, Elder Winston, and thank you for the invitation to be here. I'm excited about what I'm hearing, and I wasn't even here last night, but you all have me excited already about what you're doing with Extreme Makeover. May God bless what you're doing. What an innovative and creative approach of how we can do and reshape our ministries to meet today's need, and we're delighted at what you're doing. In fact, I'm so excited. I want to extend an invitation to you to come to our year-end meeting when we have all of our leaders from across North America Division come together this year in October, November to talk to us a little bit about what you're doing here with Extreme Makeover. I know God is blessing and God is doing some special things for you guys, and it's really along our theme with the North American Division, Together in Mission, where we are really trying to do like Wayne Gretzky, the hockey player, did. You know, they said what made him a great hockey player was everyone else skated to where the puck was on the ice ring. but he always skated to where it's going to be. And it sounds like to me that's what you guys are doing with Extreme Makeover as you're preparing for how we do ministry in this COVID-19 and post-COVID-19 world. May God bless you all. And we invite you to continue to join us as we seek to do ministry in the next decade and next few years, because it will be different. And so thank you for leading the way. May God bless your efforts. May God bless Extreme Makeover and the specialists and the members of the South Atlantic Conference. And we know and we plan to hear great things from the South Atlantic Conference. I also want to say one thing before I leave, is that we're trying to get 10,000 digital disciples from across North American Division. And we like to challenge South Atlantic to be a part of that. And also next year, we're trying to baptize the largest number we've ever baptized in the history of the North American Division. Is 50,000 people we're trying to baptize. And I believe that what you do in Extreme Makeover will lead the way in that regard. God bless you, Elder Winston. God bless your leadership and the pastors and your ministerial team.
Thank you. And before you sign off, Elder, I want you to know that you are in our prayers. We know the burden that you bear, the load that you carry. You are in our prayers. Please know that, you and your dear wife, and we keep you lifted up to the Lord. Thank you for the job that you're doing.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Elder. Thank you so much to Elder Winston, and of course to Elder Bryant. Elder Winston, it's always a privilege to have you as a leader to be on with us, but to have the North American Division president with us, that certainly means a lot. He talked about digital disciples. That's what we've been doing for today. So Elder Winston, thank you so much for being a part of our Extreme Makeover. Go ahead.
Let
Doc.
me say to this dynamic duo, I know that your names are going far and wide. Don't let anybody tamper with you. If anybody calls you, hang up. If anybody's looking for a duo or a single, hang up. Hang up. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you.
We appreciate it. We appreciate the affirmation, Mr. President. We'll hear from him a little bit later on. Everyone, we're excited to be here. We're going to bring on our panelists in just a second. But Kirk, I feel like giving a giveaway tonight. I want to see a hashtag. I want to see a hashtag subscribed if you are in the South Atlantic page right now, the first hashtag subscribe that I see, the first one that I see, we're going to give away $50 right now. Do you see any?
That's the easiest 50 I ever made.
Do you see any? That's
there he is.
All right, that's the one I see. That's the one I see. Okay. We're excited. We're excited. The one of our own, man, Pastor Michael Shelton. Let me get Elder Winston's approval.
Does he qualify?
Are we giving him a $50 back?
Let me pray about that a little bit.
All right, drop off Shelton's name.
I think for sure, and I'll tell you something else. Let me whisper this in your ear. If you treat the treasurer nicely, maybe she'll give us another gift to give out.
Okay. So why?
That's just between us now.
Come on, that's just between us. Okay, so why don't we do this from last night and to this night? She was on last night and she subscribed as well. And so we're gonna Michael Shelton, Pastor, we're gonna take care of you. But also, Sister Debrina James, we're gonna take care of you as well. You are getting the $50 as well. Guys, stay tuned. We're excited for what we got going on today. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving us wisdom. All right, everybody, let's get it started. We're ready to roll. We've already done enough talking. We got to get started. Listen, we're going to bring on our panelists. Of course, one of our fearless leaders, Elder Calviin Preston, is with us. Let's bring him on in. We're excited to have Pastor Aaron Abernathy all the way from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yes.
We've also got, just the bishop, the pastor, the evangelist. Pastor Daniel Kely is here as well. Guys, we're back again. How y'all feeling?
Great.
Elder Preston, you started with a quote last time. So do you want to continue this evening? How do you want to start us off this evening, Doc?
Well, listen, first of all, I saw a good friend of mine, Elder Ramings, from Nassau, Bahamas.
That's it.
There. Did I see that one? Yeah, that's my man. That's my friend. I believe he's the secretary of the North Bahama Conference. Dr. Ramings, we're so happy to have you with us tonight, this afternoon.
Elder Preston, we also got London in the house as well, man. So we got folk from all over across, that's here today. So
worldwide.
So we're worldwide today, Doc. So yeah, Doc, take a few moments and set us up.
Saints, all this is about is that in the midst of a COVID virus, we cannot stop spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. The mandate from God himself to go and preach and teach is there. Ellen White said, listen, I tell you what, if you think you can back off because there's a virus, what you fail to do in time of peace, you got to not do it in time of trouble. Greater and wiser efforts must be put forth to help the churches in our land and the elders and those who have leading places in the church should give more thought to the plans for conducting the work. That's where we need to spend our energy. They should arrange matters so that every member of the church should have a part to act. Every member of the church should be doing something, that none may lead an aimless life, but that all may accomplish what they can according to their spiritual ability, several abilities. It is working for others that, listen, it is working for others that we forget ourselves. But those who do nothing, listen to this. But those who do nothing for their fellow man become morbid and self-centered.
Mercy.
And time hinge on heavily upon their hands. It is very essential that such an education be given to the members of the church, that they will become unselfish, devoted, efficient workers for God. It is when we work that we develop our character in Jesus Christ. And so if a church is not working, that's why we find ourselves fussing.
Mercy.
Am I talking to Adventists? Cussing?
Mercy.
Fighting?
Mercy.
Getting on each other's nerve? But you show me a saint that's doing something. You don't have to be a great preacher. You don't have to be a great Bible worker, but you can find your own little spot. And you find me a saint who's found their spot, and I'll show you a happy church member, and I'll show you a growing church. It is when we get involved, things happen. And that's the premise of Extreme Makeover Part 2. What can I do? Dr. Kely talked about it a couple of weeks ago. He spoke about friendship evangelism. Starting last night, we talked about forms of friendship evangelism. You don't have to conquer all of them, but we hope and pray that you will find your niche in this thing and you will be used mightily in the cause of God.
Sounds good to me, man. Pastor Preston, thank you for just allowing us to continue to do things like this as young preachers, man. We appreciate the different folk that we had last night. Pastor Kely, man, want to just real quick, we bring on our first guest. Shout out to your youth leader for coming on, and just, she was awesome. Everybody now is like, yo, we got to do it. We got to do a drive-in movie night, man. We got to do it. Pastor Kely, we just appreciate you and all those who were part last night. We appreciate it. Well, fellas, let's get right to it, Pastor. We're excited today to have one of our colleagues in the space with us, all the way from the South Central Conference. He is the senior pastor of the Breath of Life Seventh-day Adventist Church in Memphis, Tennessee. He's the new pastor there, new assignment. But we're excited for him. But Dr. Nathaniel Drew is also a psychologist. He's here with us today, and he's going to be talking to us about mental health. So, Dr. Drew, man, we're glad to have you in the space, brother. How are you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling good. What's going on, everybody? Happy to be in this space with you all, with some giants in the field here. See a lot of friends I went to Oakwood with, Pastor Kely, Abernathy, Scott, of course, Humphreys, and Dr. Preston's son, Deshaun. I was there with him as well. So just happy to be here in this space and looking forward to sharing with you guys.
Well, look, we're glad to have you here, man. One of the things that we really going to get to, we know mental health is a big thing, especially with what's going on with COVID. It's major. Churches, especially with Black men, Black women, young, old, mental health is a big thing in our communities. And churches want to try to find a way to how do we make this prevalent? What are some things that we can do? Talk to us about how we can take the mental health aspect, not just inside the church, but outside.
Yeah, I think, one of the first things that we can do is avoid the temptation to downplay it. I think a lot of times we can treat mental health as if it's not as significant as it is by saying things to people like you're just possessed by a demon or just pray about it and it'll go away. And it's the way we use our words can diminish the impact of what somebody and severity of what somebody is going through. So I think one of the things that we can do is not, I guess, avoid the temptation to downplay it. Here we are in 2021. And mental health is still seen as a taboo topic in our church, and it should not be. It's not like it just arrived on the scene this year, right? Mental health has been a beast, and it has been since the inception of sin and this world. So I think that we can kind of give a level of respect to it in a way where, just like we develop ministries for children, we develop ministries for family, we develop ministries for the homeless and for whatever else. Why not already have something set in place, be on the offensive so that when people, not if, but when people who struggle with mental illness, because I guarantee right in your churches, the churches the viewers belong to, many of you watching have suffered mental illness, and you won't say it because it's taboo. We're afraid to say we're depressed. We're afraid to schizophrenic. We're afraid to say that we deal with anxiety or whatever the case might be. Wouldn't it be great for us to already have avenues set in place? And here's the great thing, that there are so many organizations and facilities in our cities where the church doesn't have to be the end all be all. We can tap into these organizations and say, listen, we have someone that can use your services. Let's develop a partnership that can go a long way in helping that as well.
Hey, Doc, what's the best way to package, since there is such a taboo? What is the best way for us to package it to make it more appealing, to bring more people to the table that may have certain issues but don't want to admit it under certain names? Is there a way to kind of make that more
appealing? Yeah.
No, excellent question. And yes, I think one of the things that we can do is we can talk about it more. We can teach about it more, right? There are certain things that we preach about, that we teach about, that we have programs that we advertise that kind of strips, those things of people being fearful of bringing them to the forefront. So we'll do financial peace seminars, we'll do evangelistic efforts. And so we preach those things so much. When somebody has a financial issue, more times than not, they're not going to be fearful to come to the leaders of the church and say, listen, I've got this issue financially, can you help me? Can you do this? If they have an issue with a certain belief that we have, they'll come and say, I don't really understand this. Can you help me understand this? And I think that if we can, at the very least, talk about it more, if we can talk about it from our pulpits, if we can talk about it, if we can bring people in, much like you're doing right now, develop spaces where we can talk about it more, that at least lets people know, okay, this is not scary. It's not a scary thing. It's not something that we can't touch, right? And then it makes it less, it makes it less like this beast that's hovering over us, and more just like something that people just deal with. And I think that the more that we do that, then the more that people can say, okay, I feel like this is a safe space for me to be able to have that conversation. And there are many places in scripture that we can pull from where we see Jesus dealing with people that struggled with various issues of mental illness and whatever the case might be. We can find even those kinds of things in scripture. People who are saddened, who are downcast. We find Elijah in one place where he's depressed, and an angel of the Lord is sent to his aid to give community to him when he's in his hour of need. There are many instances in scripture where we can find people who have dealt with some of the very same things we deal with. And we can find prophets. It's not just us. We find prophets struggle with very, aspects of mental illness. We find Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane where he's weighed down and burdened with his assignment. Now we can even find him in a position where he needed that encouragement. He needed to talk to somebody. He needed his father to give him that extra push to encourage him to keep going. So we talk about it more. We strip it of this idea that it's untouchable, that if you deal with that, then you're an outcast. We don't want anything to do with you. And it at least opens the line for communication.
So, Dr. Drew, when you say mental illness, so you're not necessarily just talking about somebody who is, on deep medication, foaming at the mouth, our old concept, our old picture. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about that the church could offer, and correct me if I'm wrong, church could offer some type of seminars for I'm depressed. I'm in COVID. I've been locked up for months. And so, I find myself, can't get out of bed or what have you like that. So that's what you're talking about? Or are you talking about something where I need a PhD in the mental health field in order to do something? So I've got two things.
No, great question. And so I'm suggesting both hands, right? Because there's space for those who are so severely sick. And obviously that goes beyond the scope of what, people who aren't credentialed or qualified are able to do. And that's where the partnerships with community agencies would come in place, because there are some people deal with things that are too severe for the church to deal with. Absolutely. And so that it takes a level of spirituality, I think, to say this one's too big for us. Let's send you somewhere that can be of help for you. But then on the other end of it, I do think that there are people who deal with depression, people who deal with trauma, who've been sexually abused and who've been physically abused. There are people that deal with domestic violence who come to church every Sabbath and we have no idea. You know, people who deal with drug and alcohol abuse. And I'm saying that, yes, I think that there's a whole lot more that we can do so that those people at the very least feel comfortable saying, I feel safe enough to let you know when I go home, my husband punches me in my eye almost every night. Right. We're saying there needs to be a space where people feel comfortable saying that, knowing that they're embraced and helped.
Now, so let me follow up just for a second. Let me follow up. So, okay, I understand a little better now about mental illness, but nobody in our church have a degree in that field. And so how do, but yet, our church is not too far from that area that we see this going on every day. We know issues are there and they don't have the insurance to go out and get the help. So we do want to open our doors to talk about things like that. But no one in our church, we don't have a PhD. We don't have anyone with a master's in that line of work, but our community we know needs it. So what can we do?
Yeah.
So the first thing is, and I think that's an excellent point that you mentioned. And I also think that that's a faulty assumption that a lot of us make. We think that our church is devoid of those people, those professionals that can help. There are a whole lot of churches that have nurses, that have workers, that have therapists and psychologists. And so I would definitely say take inventory first of what we have in-house, because there are so many people who work my wife is a psychiatric nurse, right? So even though she's a nurse, her specialty is dealing with mental illness, right? And so, we might, the tendency is to say, oh, they're a doctor or they're a nurse or they're this, or they couldn't possibly be able to help this. But we don't know, unless we ask. And if we can start these things, then somebody might say, hey, yeah, I do work with patients that are mentally ill. I can help out with that, or I can make a connection for my church so that we can meet those needs as well. So yes, definitely take inventory as well. If you find out that it just so happens that you don't have anybody that can meet that need, then that's when I believe that those community connections come into play.
Pastor Abernathy, last question for you guys.
Yeah, I just have one question. You mentioned this a couple of times: safe space, safe space, safe space. How can we cultivate that safe space in a church where us as sinners can come and say, listen, I'm dealing with anxiety. I'm dealing with depression. I'm dealing with these different feelings. I'm dealing with thoughts of suicide even. How can we make it a safe space in our context, small church, large church? How can we make it a safe space for people to come and feel as though the church is a place I can go to get help?
Yeah, that's hard, man. And it's a tough question, because I think in a lot of our churches, what it requires is a complete culture change. Whether the issue is mental illness, drug addiction, fornication, and we've talked about these things before, we've seen them before. And the question is still the same. How can this become a place where somebody who just got out of someone's bed, sleeping with someone that's not their wife or not their husband, how can they come to church and say, I have an issue with fornication. I like it, but I know that it's wrong, but I feel safe enough to say that here because I believe somebody here can help me. And honestly, I think that definitely requires a culture change, but I think it also requires somebody willing to be an example of what that looks like. And whether that's me as the pastor or me as the elder or me as a lot of times, especially you see it with appeals, when appeals are given, typically, nobody's moving. Then when one person moves, then 10 people move. And when those 10 people move, 20 people move. So maybe if somebody can see that acted upon, see somebody, courageous enough, to share and to speak out concerning what they're going through, maybe that can be the catalyst that causes other people to do it as well.
Sure.
Yo, thank you so much, Pastor Drew, man. We appreciate you, Dr. Drew. We know and appreciate your efforts. This is a big thing. So we appreciate you and your vision towards that. So thank you so much, man, for being a part tonight.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Take care, man. Take care. Pastor Scott, man, who we got on the tab next, man?
Who's next?
That's right. We got someone with us, man. We got somebody with us who is a big part of the South Atlantic team. She is the treasurer of our conference, and so we're excited to have Elder Mosley on at this time to be with us. Elder Mosley, thank you for being a part tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I just want to jump right in because I want to follow up with what the previous presenter was saying.
Sure, go right ahead.
I want to make sure, because I saw someone post it, we need to make our churches available to the community social programs that are out there. And far too long has the Seventh-day Adventist Church not been a part of those things. Alcoholic Anonymous, grief, divorce care, domestic violence, all of those things. I am challenging our churches to consider being a part of those social programs because they're out there. And unfortunately, we have members that are going to other churches to get help. And they could come to our churches, be anonymous, and be in a safe space. So I just want to follow up with that because that's important. So thank you.
No, I mean, and let's stick with that. I know that you're getting ready to go into your topic, but I think that's all of us as young pastors, Elder Preston, that safe space is a major thing. Elder Preston, do you feel like we're heading in that direction, especially coming out of COVID? That's just something that we just have to have.
Yes, by all means, because we know we have to do church in a different way from now on. And so we need to be a refuge. Simple as that. And hopefully down the line at the end, we're going to talk about maybe our next step in customer service.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we've seen where there's a level of cohesion that the pastor has to have in transition. Of course, we know in the Adventist discipline, pastor, we don't have the luxury of pastoring a church for 20 years, right? Where oftentimes in some of our brothers and sister denominations, the pastor would have been there long enough to formulate those relationships with community leaders, those relationships with health experts and things like that. I think that there has to be a level of cohesiveness when the pastor is transferred, where you have a directory that's passed on. Hey, this is the people for you to reach out in this area. These are grief specialists. These are mental health specialists, and so on and so forth. So that the church and more the community can still benefit without almost having to reset every time you get a new pastor. I think y'all are spot on with that.
I think that's good. And I think that's, and Pastor Kely, you being an evangelist, I know there's some things that we're just going to have to offer for our people up and foremost, but also for those who come in, because when folk come in, they come with their issues, their needs, just as we have. So,
hey, I wanted to ask Drew, and maybe y'all could tackle this for me. Maybe Dr. Mosley could tackle this. But, in my experience, man, I've seen, when it comes to people needing help with health, there's a majority that's willing to accept it and a minority that's not. When it comes to finances, there's a majority that's willing to accept and a few that would be offended. When it comes to mental health, in my experience, there's a majority that is not willing to accept the help or to accept they need help, and a minority that is. So because the umbrella theme of our time together is evangelism, how do we tackle? That's kind of what I wanted to talk to the preacher about. How do we tackle that? Where when I could see it's obvious. So, Stevie Wonder could see that you need help, but you think you're fine. You know what I'm saying? How do we?
But I think Pastor Kely, I think we have to redefine what he said earlier. It's not just about somebody foaming at the mouth or somebody who has a demon. Listen, what if I'm depressed because of COVID-19? This mental health is more than just the casting out of demons. And I think for so long that has been the narrative where we just assume that mental health means that person is crazy, when the reality is we deal with folks who are struggling because their wife had a miscarriage. We have a ministry that meets the need for families. We have kids who fathers have left the home and they're acting out. They're depressed. That's a sign of mental health. So we have to. Again,
you're talking about mental health, not necessarily mental illness. And so you're kind of talking about how to stay healthy, how to get healthy, how to remain healthy. And so when you package it like that, I think it's a lot better. And so to prevent mental illness.
I
think we have to stop being afraid.
Go ahead, Dr. Mosley. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think we have to stop being afraid of the different types of mental health issues that may be available and just provide the resource. I think we pick and choose what needs to be provided. And because we don't know what's needed, I think we need to just make the resources available. And then the individual has the option to take advantage of it. And I think that's what we don't do a good job of saying, here are the resources that we as a church want to make available to you.
We gotta move real quick, and I know we want to get her topic, and the reason why she's here. We know that a big part of our own mental health is our finances, brethren. It's something that will fluctuate and go up and down with, and we also know, Elder Mosley, that finance is a big part when it comes to evangelism, financial health. Take some time, take a few moments, and talk to us about how we can turn our finances into something to be used evangelistically.
So we've been talking about friendship evangelism, and we're talking about the community. And if anybody knows, when you are stressed out about money, there's just some stuff that you just cannot deal with or even receive. And so from an evangelistic perspective, it has been proven that if you share how individuals can have financial freedom, that in and of itself will open the doors for other things to be embraced. And so I know a lot of our churches don't have the budgets that they would like to have, but you can do these seminars for free with the community. And I'm talking about sharing with them how to be debt-free, how to do budgets, how to plan for savings, how to secure housing. Different resources are available. We have many banks in our communities, and within the states that we cover, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, the banks, the three top banks are Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and BB&T. They offer free resources where they will come virtually to your churches and give these seminars. So there's no reason for us to have an expert. We don't have anybody that can share this information with us. We have a bank. If you have a bank as a church, you have an expert automatically. It's a service that's free to you. So as you're planning and looking at different options, I would encourage you to consider using that one resource where you keep your money as a church. Connect with your bank. They have a free resource for you.
Elder Mosley, I got to interrupt you, but what if we got a member that says, oh, we got an elder so-and-so that can come and do this kind of training.
Mercy.
This person is an Adventist. How can they come teach us about our What do you say to that for those who say things like that?
So once again, we're saying community, right?
Yeah.
So I would sit down with elder or sister, whomever, and say, can we talk about what the community is and who the community is? And if we're going to define that and block out people that are not, quote unquote, our faith, then we have the wrong perspective as it relates to sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ.
That's it.
And so I would encourage them to open the doors. The church is for the world. The Bible says, go ye therefore into all the world. So it's not about those that are Adventists and those that are not. It's for everyone. And so if there's somebody in the church that has that expertise, I would encourage them to be useful and allow us to also engage them to provide some seminars to the church and to the community at large. I would encourage them to get involved as well.
So specifically,
now I know I'm saying community. I got a call from a member. I don't remember where she was, but another resource that we could provide, we have a lot of entrepreneurs within our congregations and just within our communities. There are so many resources that are available that we can share with our community and our members that will release them and allow them to be able to bless the church, both financially and with their gift of business. And so I want to challenge us. And we have a list of those resources. I can share those with you, Elder Preston. I'm sure you're going to be asking for how we can get some information. But we have a list of those resources where you can get, cash incentives, food programs, you name it. Those resources are there. But the young lady that called me wanted to know if we had a resource as to how can I apply for this SBA loan? I'm an entrepreneur and I would like to get some funds so that I can promote and increase my program so that I can bless my church. We want to be able to provide those resources because there are individuals within our community that are asking those questions and they don't have access to that type of resource. And so that's another way for us to connect with the community by providing them with the resources for governmental agencies and funds that they can access.
Okay, I want to go into my bank and ask them to come in and say something. How do I protect us from being sold something? We understand as well. Fargo got in trouble a few years ago because they was trying to sell stuff too much, and so we want them to be a benefit to us. We want a mutual benefit. So what am I asking for? A couple of specifics when I go in as just Joe Blow, non-financial person. I want to go in and get them to come into my church. What am I asking them for?
So you're going in first as the church, because this resource is available to businesses, and your church should be set up as a business account. Mm-hmm. And so when you go in, as you said, I don't want you to sell me anything. I'm trying to provide a resource to my members and to the community. And so you will let them know that you're interested specifically in how to better budget money, how to invest. Now, of course, if you're talking about investing, they're going to automatically at the end say, we have some resources available. If you have funds that you would like to invest in, clearly, though, that is not the reason why they're there. And you will make that available up front when the presentation starts. But when you walk into that bank, make sure you're letting them know, I'm not here to buy anything. You already have my money. I just want to take advantage of the resources that you provide that will help my community.
Sister Mosley.
And then on top of that, I know a number of our churches are using Dave Ramsey Financial Peace. Dave Ramsey has free resources on his website.
That's right.
That cover all of the categories that we usually use when we're buying his product. So please consider the free resources as well.
Can the conference produce a presentation of, how to balance my checkbook, how to get out of debt, type of those seminars? I agree with you. We need to reach the community, but yet we need to catch people where they are. And so some folks feel better because it's a church person that's doing it. So down the line, can we produce a series of seminars on topics of, financial matter? Can we, Sister Treasure?
I think she's with you. Sister Treasure, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
We got you. You heard that question from Elder Preston? Did you catch his last question?
Can you hear me?
We got you. Let's see if we can keep moving as Elder Preston. I think we got her now. Did you hear Elder Preston's last question? Elder Preston, re-ask that question.
Know, can we produce some seminar on financial concerns that we can pass on to the local church that can share with small groups, or if they want to invite people to the church, or they can just share over the internet? Can we produce those things and help them out? Because some people, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm not even getting into it. Some people feel comfortable, with their own folks presenting some stuff. So can we do that? Is she saying yes? I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah.
The answer is yes.
We got the yes. That's what matters.
Yes. That's all we need. Yes, and yes again.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
Madam Treasurer, I know that you got something that you want to do for us on this extreme makeover. I'm gonna let you share that before we move on.
Yes.
What do you have for us, Sister Treasurer, today?
Well, I heard the president whispering. I heard the president that if you're nice to me, you may be able to get something out of me. You don't have to be nice. You just have to do this more often. That's right. All I ask.
All right.
So with that being said, I want to encourage those that are watching to subscribe. I want to give out 5 more gifts. Pastor Humphreys and Pastor Scott, I want to give out 5 more.
We listen. We received that. That she just said 5 more. That means
it's right 5 panelists on here right now.
I want everybody to go to the YouTube
eligible.
page right now. That's right. YouTube page right now. Everybody #subscribed. You have to subscribe. We can check and see if you subscribed. All right. We've already given away 2 gifts, and she's willing to let us give away 5 more today. So, folks, if you're in another chat right now, leave your stream. I'll give you permission and go over to the South Atlantic page right now and subscribe and get your chance to win. Let me tell you, matter of fact, right now, We have got almost 100 people watching on the South London page. Everybody needs to be subscribed to get this money that we've got. Pastor Kely, man, she's giving out quite a bit of money, Doc. I need to make sure I'm subscribed myself.
She's saying 5% of the current users are able to win.
That's it. There you go. Madam Treasurer, we say thank you so much for just your willingness to pour into Extreme Makeover. This means a lot to us, of course, as your colleagues, but as well for those who are watching. Thank you so much for being a part of our Extreme Makeover Part 2.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All
right, everybody, let's keep moving. We got a lot to get to, everybody. We're excited. Elder Preston, I'll give you a chance to introduce her. We've got Dr. Tracey Carter here, Doc. Take some time to let us know who she is and what we got her on today.
The next point we want to emphasize is the fact that our churches can offer what we're doing now. There are so many people who said, I don't know how to operate the computer. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to get on to Zoom and all like that. And so we can turn our churches into a technology center. And so among us is one of our own pastor's wife, Dr. T. Carter. She teaches this at the university, at Allen University in Columbia, South Carolina. And so we've invited her to tell us, Sister Carter, how can the church use technology in the midst of this pandemic, and how we can do it post pandemic season?
Thank you for inviting me.
Welcome. So happy to have you.
Thank you, guys. I'm enjoying just watching you guys do your thing. I'm going to have to jump in just a little bit because y'all are talking about my field of mental health, and just let you know this little nugget is it's just a generational perspective we have of African Americans being scared of going in, saying help.
That's
because
right.
We can do it within our family. It's,
Talk
we can
about
take care of it within these four walls. We don't need nobody in our business.
Wow.
So that's the mindset that we have to change in order to get the help. So we can have all the resources out there for our saints, but if they don't change their mindset, that help is okay, assistance is okay, it is not a weakness, then our resources be nothing. So yeah, I was just a little excited. I was like, let me jump in. And mental health is different than mental illness.
So Dr. Carter, before you switch gears, Doc, based on your experience, are we doing any better now than times before, as far as acknowledging and from the pulpit and having our churches understand that it's okay to see Jesus and a therapist? Do you, in your opinion, are we doing any better at all?
I think we are, and I think we're, especially pastors, you guys are becoming more humanistic, and you're allowing your members to see the flaws, because we can't model perfection and then say, come ask for help. So we have to be able to be open in some ways to show our members that we too need assistance sometimes, and we're going to ask for it. And you see a lot of musicians and stars come out and say, I need help, or if I had help, I needed help with pornography, or I needed, help with drinking. And people are like, oh my goodness, wow. And they're praised for it. So our generation and the generations before us are beginning to see that assistance does, it does help, getting assistance. Yeah, just changing that mindset. We need that growth mindset where we're not stagnant in our beliefs and in our perspectives. And we are able to say, you know what? It's smarter if I get assistance than if I stay out here and try to do this on my own and get worse and deeper into my depression or deeper into my anxiety and not receive help. That's actually intelligence. That's a definition of intelligence, to adjust to your surroundings, to see things as a challenge. I saw Pastor Newbill says, I accept the challenge when you guys were talking. Yes, that's what we're supposed to do. It's a challenge, not a threat. COVID is a challenge, not a threat.
That's
How
good.
are we going to evolve?
That's good. That's good.
Dr. Preston, now I know this is not what you came to talk about, but Dr. Preston is always asking folk to do seminars on stuff. I think, because I had a suicide scare this week with one of my young people. And I do believe, based on my perspective, that we are becoming more open. We are verbalizing more from the pulpit, from the pastoral desk, that it's okay to get help. And I think that we are normalizing the idea of getting help. But at the same time, again, COVID times and just life, in my opinion, I think we're seeing an increase in suicide and just that depression that leads to suicide. Dr. Preston, I think we may need to ask Sister Carter to do something on.
Let's get into
talk about it. Technology, but we will ask her. This is not the end. This is not the end.
Yeah, this is my field. I love it. I love the human behavior and how we react to certain challenges. And COVID for me, getting into what you can do. COVID for me is like a firework. It goes up as one string, but then the firework explodes and you see all these stars and different colors. And while we see a firework and we're like, wow, it's beautiful, some people see it as a threat. So how can a small church do, reach what you like, how a big church is reaching all of these people all over the world? It's your mindset. And the way to attack that is by getting a plan. Like, what do you mean a plan? So a strategic plan, having a goal. What is your strategic goal? Just because of COVID does not mean that your church is, doesn't have a mission anymore. It still has a mission. There's still a goal. So take that goal and find a way to do it online. So for example, Pastor Melvin Preston is coming up. Maybe he'll speak more on this, but he reached out to me and wanted to have the married lovers retreat still virtually. He's like, can this be done? Yeah, it can. How can we do it? That's where the plan comes in. So you're going to have the activities, you're going to have your output, what you want. And then you have to have your performers. So this is where the small church can come in and look around and see the strengths and weaknesses of their members and say, you know what, Sister So-and-so, you are really good with Microsoft. I remember the other day when you showed me how to send an email through my Microsoft Word. Can you do a seminar for us? Can you train our community on Microsoft? And it doesn't have to be anything big. It's just something small. And I hear people talk about going back to what was. I don't want to go back. And I know there's a lot of people who don't want to go back to pre-COVID. Because now, while the trauma came, I am bettering myself from this trauma. So I don't want to go back to that old Tracey. I want this new Tracey to keep evolving through God. I will keep evolving. So we have to find out how we can evolve more. And I'm sorry for those pastors who think when everything opened up, you're going to close down your streaming or your Zoom or no. Those are over. Those days are over.
Dr. Carter, I want to interrupt you because you said a couple things. Pastor Abernathy, you go first. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question. So when it comes to streaming, and so for the little church in the rural areas, how can we best stream when our context or when the context is the demographic of your church is more those that are not tech savvy or those that are not willing to even because we do have some saints, the saints of God. Some of them are unwilling to get on platforms that we can stream from. How can we still use this and be applicable in our different contexts?
Good question. So that's a part of your strategic plan and then your implementation. So your strategic plan can be to be equitable. And in my university, we had to figure that out when everybody was thrown online. How are we now going to be equitable for our students to continue to learn? Mm-hmm. So our president was so gracious in the university to buy all our students laptops. So they all got mailed to their home laptops. And that is how a church would have to think of that. That's your implementation. Okay, I know I have some families who don't have Wi-Fi. let's look at T-Mobile, because they have this great initiative going right now where they are giving hotspots, and they're meeting with organizations to give best prices for it. So let's see how to get these hotspots into our members' home. Let's start a laptop initiative where we give them laptops at a reduced price, or a phone. Some things where you can help that equity, you can close that gap so that everyone still remains in that fellowship, or like West End like to say, in that Holy Ghost experience. You want them always to be in that. So that's what you would have to think of as a church, and that's why it goes into that strategic planning, and then the implementation of the plan, and then the budget implications also are in there. And that's how you also get that buy-in from your members and your board. If you show them the plan and how it can work and what are the expected results, because the actual results will always vary.
Dr. Carter, you've given us a wealth of knowledge. And I know we keep jumping in front of Elder Preston's question, but I know that it's going to have an Elder Preston. Give us your final thoughts on this specific topic.
Of course, so many of our members believe that they cannot do it.
Yeah.
But what we want is to encourage them that they can, and that they can share it. You can turn it into an evangelistic tool, because my neighbor may not know how to get online and may not know anything about, chat rooms and stuff like that. So the church can become a center where we can offer that type of stuff to our community, and we develop that relationship with them, and then farther down the line, you can present the gospel. These are methods in which every church can use. Okay, and that's what we're after in the 21st century.
Yeah, I know a lot of our members have smartphones, but those smartphones are a lot smarter than we take advantage of. I mean, they can do a lot more than a lot of our members.
That is the truth.
So the point is, if we can take our church and make it a center, a teaching center.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all we want to do. We have to invent nothing. We just can make it a teaching center and say, hey, come learn how to utilize that phone. I remember one of the associate pastors at West End preached this sermon. He said, it'll work if you work it.
It'll work if you work it.
And that's what we can do with this field that is now staring us in the face, technology, and we can turn it into an evangelistic tool. If you have a phone, if you have a computer, let's make some things happen.
So Dr. Carter passes on the line, especially Kaggia and Humphreys, because y'all are doing a phenomenal job in East North Carolina. How do you handle the seniors? Like, we had to buy tablets for a few of our seniors. Then we showed them how to sign on, how to check their email. I had one of my elders who so happens to be my dad, and he said, well, I don't really check my email. I said, that's not allowed in this season. You understand what I'm saying? You just gotta address, right? So how do you guys handle that? Have y'all done classes? How has that helped evangelistically your church immediately, and then the broader, maybe those who are not a part of your church, seniors and things like that?
So for my husband's church, when you guys shut down, and I said to him, I got you. What do you need? So I was able to train his board. I trained his elders in Zoom, because Zoom is the most friendly platform really to use for individuals who don't really know. It's an easier platform. So you get them on there, and they're going to ask all these different questions. And it's okay to be calm about it. In this COVID time, people are like all over the place, but we need to be more calm and be able to explain this new territory to our members so that they can be empowered. So classes were given for a whole month on Sundays. I'll log on and people would come on and tell me what they are trying to do. Where's the mute button? Where's the share screen button? How do I play my audio? things like that is what we can do for our members. Take out an hour out of your day to just empower them so that when church opens, they don't feel like they were defeated. They feel like they had something to contribute. If you have Bible studies that you're like, I don't know how to do this, give them the pamphlets. We have so many amazing facts and different pamphlets that can be given out. Or if the pastors have something that they would like to tell their members, train them on it. And that's a way that you can do that. You can train them on emails. People are like, what's the email? Yeah, we have to be more tech savvy now because of COVID. That was one of those stars that set off. So we have to be more tech savvy. So you can train them on an email session, and it doesn't take long. 10 to 15 minutes can give somebody empowerment in this time.
Dr. Carter, thank you so much. I'm sorry, guys. We got to move. Talking to Dr. Carter, we could be here for the rest of the stream, but we've got some other specialists that are eager that we want to get to. So thank you so much. I already know, for those who are asking, those who are wondering, we're going to be tapping in with Dr. Carter for some more training, get some things to get us set up so we can specifically tackle this issue. So thank you all so much for being part. Dr. Carter, thank you again for being a part of Extreme Makeover Part 2. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay.
Let's get to the comment section, guys. We haven't done this in a while yet. We see here one of the secretary of the conference. We did that in the Bahamas, and it helped to bring people closer to each other. Elder Preston, I think that's just what you said, man. It makes a difference when we kind of tackle these folk and get them on board.
Listen, just before you move off of that, listen, church, this is how we can engage our young people. We're talking about bringing young people back into the church. We're not going to bring them back in the church with a tent meeting.
Yeah,
we can bring them back in the church with a computer. So all I need you to do is come back to church and it'll bring that it'll close that generation gap. Come back to church and teach our older people and and their friends how to operate the telephone and how to operate computers. Listen, I have a telephone. I keep up with almost the latest. Don't know a thing about it. Hey, Deshaun, come here. Show me what to do. Now my grandson is teaching me.
And because they update them things every 2 months.
Might get this man a wheelchair.
Listen, that's all we need. That would bring our young people back to church.
That's right. That makes a difference. We're going to be talking about more tech a little bit later on with Kirk Nugent, but we got to keep moving. I am going to give away, since we're not spending any of our money, we're spending some of the treasurer's money. Praise the Lord.
Hey, hallelujah.
Two giveaways. And so the first one that I saw tonight, gentlemen, I want to celebrate. If you're still on, Tanisha Hunter, you are going to be our next winner for the $50. Tanisha Hunter, thank you so much. And the next one I'm picking at random here is Sheldon Stewart as well. All right, so thank you guys so much for being a part of Extreme Makeover. We got your names here. What I want to ask you to do is message us on our social media platforms. Let us know that you're still here, and we'll make sure that we get it to you. All right, guys, we got to keep moving now. We're ready. Elder Preston, since COVID-19, man, one of the devastating things, at least for me and Pastor Kely, for those of us who are in the gym that lift heavy weights, man, is that we couldn't no longer get into the gym, man. We couldn't longer get some things together, including Pastor Abernathy just came out with a 6-pack, but for the rest of us, we have to get to the gym. But listen, Doc, we're seeing a lot of Pastor Kely, Pastor Scott, Pastor Preston, Elder Abernathy is a lot of these Zoom classes on fitness, and so today I'm excited to kind of bring on Daniella Newbill to the space with us. She's here. Sister Newbill, how you doing? We're glad that you're here for Extreme Makeover Part 2.
Hi, thank you for having me. How are you guys doing?
We are outstanding, and we're going to be a lot better when you kind of give us some tips and tools for our churches on health and fitness, the fitness side of things. And so fitness is a big thing. Everybody, when you look online, everybody is finding a new workout platform, or that everybody's trying to be some vegan or version of it. But just kind of talk to us about fitness. How can we apply that to our churches through Zoom, through stuff like that? Talk to us.
Yeah, so through churches, Zoom is, like Dr. Carter said earlier, is an awesome platform. They provide add-ons, especially when you want to incorporate the financial aspect of it. You can have over 300 people on your Zoom, and as an instructor, you can actually see all 300 people on that Zoom in a bigger on a bigger TV screen, so you can actually see them. So for me, with Zumba, I do Zumba. So with virtually doing Zumba and watching people and interacting with people, they can interact with you and you can interact with them. And Zoom is perfect, and it also provides a way for them to pay. So as you go through with the add-on, you can pay, have your people pay however much you charge for the class, and allow them to do that simplistically, as opposed to saying, hey, pay me first and then I'll send you the Zoom link. You can put it where once you give them the form to fill out, of course, definitely, please, churches, make sure you have a waiver form that will protect you and your definitely. But once you have them fill out their form and fill out the waiver form, and they submit their payment, it will then automatically give them a Zoom link for that particular class. So you can have it for the different days that you teach, and boom, there you go. So that's really easy for instructors to be able to utilize that, especially in a church. So it's not, so confusing and wondering if the person paid and if they even got a Zoom link. That through Zoom, you're able to do that.
So you can do Zoom on the TV? Help me now.
Yeah, you just gotta you have to have the app though. You gotta have those smart TVs. But if you like some people that don't have the smart TV, you can use your HDMI cord and put that HDMI cord inside the side of your TV, and it will pull up Zoom from your computer, and it'll give you the same effect for that. I know a lot of instructors also use Venmo and PayPal as a payment option. So churches wanted to use that. But like I said, for me, I know that Zoom is the best option because it's very simple and it's non-complicated. So.
Let me throw that out there, Sister Newbill. So we talked about the instructor side, and thank you for giving us the how-to for that, because that's awesome. But for the casual member, the member who is either in the community, not a member yet, wants to be a part of the classes, I don't have a lot of equipment at home. What do I need at the house to work out with? If my church is going to offer, or if South Atlantic is going to put out some exclusive workout videos and things spearheaded by someone on the screen, how can we remember, how can we get this? What do I need in the house? I just got a couch that don't have a lot of stuff. What do I need to kind of get my health in order? Start rolling.
You got it right on you. Your body.
Sure.
There you go.
Body workout is the best workout ever. Though your body weight can provide so many benefits in reference to HIIT training, strength training, push-ups, planks, squats, jump squats, high knees, mountain climbers, you name it, you can do it without any weight. The weights just add on for if you want to build increased muscle or want to tone a little bit more. But for our church members who just want to get back into the swing of things, your body alone, jumping jacks, you can do so many things that is out there. But you can also use, I want to say, I don't know if you have children, a basketball, you can do your Russian twist with the basketball, and that can be something that can stabilize your core while doing it. And a lot of people do not realize that stability is a thing now, ensuring that your core is tight and strengthened, because it protects your back, it protects just your spine, it protects everything around you, and it keeps you stable.
So what about those members that are on a walker and can't stand very long? Are there workout capabilities for or possibilities for them if they are seated, if they can't stand for a long time? Are there workouts that they can do as well on Zoom to get interacting and get the blood circulating?
If with me, I know I have a few people that are in that magnitude, and what it is that you can give them stand up, sit down workouts. They can use very, very light weights if they want to, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, and you start doing your weights. Have them order it on Amazon. It's really cheap. So if they want to order it on Amazon and have it mailed to the house, they can do that. or use some cans. I know they got cans in the pantry. Take the can and just and mobility is all what they need, especially if they have some kind of limitation. They really need to strengthen whatever limitation that they have. So if they cannot walk for a long period of time or standing up and sitting down, but if they, if believe it or not, it's similar to a squat as long as you have that bottom portion holding you down underneath you. So standing up, sitting down, lifting up your knees and tightening the core can bring you a reverse ab crunch. There's so many options that they have that if they're working with a personal trainer or if they look on YouTube, they can see those kinds of exercises for those type of limitations. They can just Google their limitation and.
So Sister Newbill, real quickly, how do I sell the church that I'm the pastor, so how do I sell the church that we can do this as an evangelistic ministry? How do you connect the two? I understand that fitness is good for health, but how do you connect it with it being an evangelistic tool in spreading the gospel?
Well, how we did it last time, we actually sent out flyers. I know that was pre-COVID, but we sent out information out on the website of the church as well as on the screen. But we can send out emails, things like that, saying, "Hey, we are doing a Zumba class, or we're doing a fitness workout class," and that will bring outsiders in. I've met so many people putting out there about Zumba. And a lot of ladies who continued coming to the church, and they even came to church one time, just seeing how we operate and how we interact with each other and the love that we've shown each other. And even if they went through, I did a boot camp on Mondays when I was in Huntsville, and them coming in and realizing the love, and it wasn't just pushing them, but we prayed with them. If they had a limitation, we talked them through it. A lot of stuff, like what you guys were talking about earlier about mental health, a lot of it is mental, what they think that they can't do, not realizing that their body is stronger than they think. So once we, I would say, fellowship with them as well as work out with them, they were on board for it. And it brought new people, and people didn't even know we had a gym in the church or whatnot. So a lot of people, once they get that information, and us as members putting that information out to those who are not Adventists or those who are, their friends. Oh, hey, so and so at work, I have a Zumba teacher that our church is doing Zumba or a HIIT training on Zoom. Are you willing to come? And they realize how we are in the camaraderie. That brings a lot of people to the church, and they become interested, and they're like, "Oh, I never felt that love before. Oh, I love being around you." It's similar to CrossFit. It's like they're like, "Yes, let's do this together," because it's all about togetherness and family.
I love it. I love it.
We love it. We appreciate you being a part. You're talking to those of us, some of us who are on the Extreme Makeover, who are on the team here. We're going to ask you: is there a way that you can put some things together? Specifically and exclusively for South Atlantic Conference, some classes, some things that churches can be able to go and view and get in their churches. Is that something you can do for us?
Yes, definitely. I definitely can put together a Zumba class and tape it. One of our church members did a video for me before I left, which I was so thankful and blessed. Chris McNish, we did like a whole video thing, and he hooked me up. So I have one of those, and I have a few HIIT trainings that I can tape. My husband could tape me, and we can get it done, and you guys will start building some muscle and getting your lives together and lowering that cholesterol.
There you go. Well, we appreciate you for being a part. Thank you so much for being on Extreme Makeover Part 2. We really are thankful and appreciative for you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Gentlemen, it's been great so far. We got 2 more left, but we still got a lot of content to get to. Elder Preston, we're not going to waste any time. The next pastor that we're bringing on is someone you know real well, who's going to come and talk a little bit about families. But Elder Preston, we met in our staff meetings. We talked a lot about how can we pour into families. Talk to us about the importance of that before we bring on Elder Preston.
Well, family is the backbone of the church. That is it. Yeah. The church itself is a family, but it's made up of nothing but families. And if the families are strong, I'm sure Melvin is going to mention this. If the family is strong, the church will be strong. And so that's one of the key components of a growing, healthy church, healthy families.
That's right. That's right. So we're excited today to have our Family Life Director from the South Atlantic Conference, Elder Melvin Preston, is here with us. We're going to bring him on.
Right.
Elder Preston, man, they just tell us, man, who is the better between the two of you all? Let's settle it once and for all now, live on camera. Man.
You don't even have to ask
that. Well, when we took a survey in the South Atlantic Conference among the 50,000+ members, I had 49,000 votes. He had 1,000, and so I'm just telling you what the folks.
I think the expression is fake news.
Good. Every place I go, they say, "Boy, we're so glad to have you." I just appreciate the camaraderie that I have with my brother.
Yeah,
he meant a lot. He meant a lot to me.
Listen, we're grateful to have you on. We're grateful, of course, to have two great minds here with us, young preachers. Elder Preston, you're the family life leader, so you know a lot about families, and you've done a lot of research and seminars, but we know that we got to tap into families, especially during COVID and after COVID. We know that families have been tough with kids having to be taught at home on screens, to marriages being more intertwined. Talk to us about what the church needs to do to get our families re-engaged, refocused, to reach out to other families in the community.
As it already stated, I think Sister White said the greatest mission field that we have is our families. And we are not ministering to them. Earlier, when we talk about mental illness, mental health, and I think the problem is in our church, folks are just afraid. It's not that the information is not out there, they just afraid. And the reason that they're afraid is because they don't trust one another. They don't trust. And the same thing in family ministry. When we started family ministry back in about 1985 on Elder Harrison, and trying to build up a family ministry team here in the South Atlantic Conference, I encourage members, get people you can trust, because if people don't trust you, they're not going to get engaged. And I believe that another factor that this church have really failed in is that we put the cart before the horse. I believe if we're going to have strong churches, we're going to have strong families. And when I'm talking about strong families, I am not talking just about husband and wife. I'm talking about straight across the board with our children and our youth and whatever. Family ministry is the only ministry that deal with a child person from birth to death. All the cycles are there. And so we have so much that we can offer in family ministry. And my point with family ministries, as I tell my leader, family ministry should not just be an in-reach, it must be an outreach. It must be an outreach. If you do not have an outreach part of your component to family ministry, you have already failed. And let me take my hat off to Rock Hill, New Life Church there in Rock Hill. Small church. People keep talking about these small churches. These small churches can do wonders. Rock Hill Church, under the leadership of Dr. Newbill now, that church is so engaged in couple ministry. That's one of their strongest points. This year we had our virtual marriage retreat. Thanks to Tracey Carter, did an awesome job with technology there. But Rock Hill Church sponsored 18 couples to the virtual retreat. 18 couples to the and these are not just members, these are non-members. These are non-Adventist members that they invite to our retreat. And even when we was in person, they were still doing the same thing. I think almost every year, Rock Hill come on top because of their outreach ministry. because they feel that if they can bring the husband and wife together, they can bring the family together to strengthen that. So I'm gonna stop here in case you have any question. Then I would like to just spin off into some resources.
That sounds like your money where your mouth is. That saying that you support families and actually supporting couples going up, because it costs money. Going up to the seminars is a big difference, and how we need to be encouraged to not just talk about it, but if we look at our church budgets, like how much money is going towards these kinds of things. Are we just paying the light and saving the rest of the money, or are we putting money into these kind of ministries? I think that's 18 couples. I mean, you just hit me in the face.
Yes, and they put it in, they put it in their budget. We appreciate that. Also, family ministry can be an evangelistic tool.
Yeah.
Gordon Monkenborough, who's retired from the Inter-American Division, came up with some excellent evangelistic tool, Bible studies, family Bible studies. And I love it because all his doctrine tie in with the family. It's the family. Every doctrine that this church have, we tie in it with the family. So it is family evangelism. And as we talk about family evangelism, even now during this COVID, you can do this. Maybe since a lot of people on Zoom, and as my brother just stated, I'm still learning a lot. And my granddaughter, one of our granddaughters, staying with us now. She needed some more room, so we invited over. My wife and I had to pray about that, but she had been a blessing to me because she is teaching me more about technology than I. Come here, girl, show me that. And she don't like to show you. She like to just get down and do it. Papa, just do. But my thing is, there is so many with the family evangelism. We can be very, very, very helpful.
Melvin, what are some of those topics on that Bible study? Can you just?
I got the church. We're in love, successful communication, marital compatibility. How do I say I love you? Conflict resolution. This is talking about the change of the Sabbath. How to be stress be stress free, how to manage my money, talking about stewardship, tithes and offering, what God says about sex, and I don't need.
So you say every church can purchase these lessons? We can just easily purchase these lessons.
You can easily purchase these lessons, and this is the short version. This is 15. He also have a 24. And let me tell you about family evangelism. Pastor Kenneth Boswell was one of my top guys with these family evangelism, family evangelism. Pastor Boswell, every time he run his meeting in family evangelism, he baptized 10, 15, 20 individuals every time. Awesome. It works. And now you're on Zoom. Why don't you gather 3 or 4 people or 5 people, a group of people on Zoom? It just don't have to be the pastor. It can be individuals as well. Let me talk about another topic, and then I'll take your question. I know we're running out of time.
Sure.
I think one of the most impact ministries that we can have today, and I heard it was talk about it, the treasurer threw out a little bit about it, and I heard someone else, is in grief ministry. Grief ministry is a going ministry now. Beloved folks, I'm telling you, members are dying. I lost 3 members, 2 members, good friends of mine at the Charlotte Northeast Church in a matter of 2-3 weeks. You know, grief. You know someone on your street or your community, get involved with grief ministry. And my consultant with grief ministry, and I'm so happy that I've been searching for stuff in the Adventist church on grief ministry. And beloved, at this point, one of the best tools that I received in grief ministry because the son didn't have it. I had to go to the mama, Sister Dr. Donna Scott, MD, board certified psychiatrist. This is Kaggia Scott's mother, who resided in Huntsville, Alabama. She wrote a tremendous book talking about managing your grief, also the workbook, plus the leadership guide, which we're coming up in the next few weeks, going to be doing a grief ministry leadership workshop. And statistics state, again, not only an in reach, but also an outreach. It is stated that if you have a strong grief ministry in your local church, ministering to people outside the church, especially 80% of those members join your church because they was in a time of need. You was there for them. Wow. And I encourage the grief care. I think the Boulevard Church have a ongoing grief, and I appreciate that. They're doing an outstanding job there. I hear from the pastor. I hear from Rosemary Graham, who also got a strong interest in that as well. Also, I'm gonna close with question, and for single parent, especially single father, a new book came out called Solo Dad, and also for single mothers, got Solo Mothers. These are two new books that just came out by the North American Division, Doctors Claudio and Pam Consuegra, the NAD Family Ministry Director. They're an awesome book that is in that area. I have so much other information to share with you, but I'll take time here.
Doc Press, we got to move, but I want to get to Elder Kely. You had a question. I think you were going to make a comment. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
It was more of an encouragement to the pastors. When I first got here, Dr. Preston, I think it was in 2011, man, you did the presentation. You gave all the pastors the book. You got to do that again, because I've used those seminars at every church I've pastored, and it has yielded baptisms. I'm telling you. The sermons, you could use the outlines and develop your own sermons. He gave us the book with 28 sermon outlines in there, and I would use it to do a 2-week revival, and it would take care of some prayer meetings for a few weeks after that. Phenomenal. That's all I got to say about that.
Listen, we appreciate you, Elder Preston, for coming on today. We've had an awesome time with you. We know that those who are in the chat who are already saying how much they appreciate you and the work that you and your wife do to spearhead certain things, your staff over there. For those who want to get in touch with the president who have asked, we're not going to put his stuff out on the internet today. What we will say is that reach out to South Atlanta.
Just give them my email address. Yeah, I'm here for resource. I got a bundle of resources that I can share with you. And it's just a pleasure. And I thank you for inviting me to be a part of the Stream Makeover today.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it. Twant you so much, Elder Preston.
God bless you.
Are with us. Okay, gentlemen, we are wrapping this thing up, but we got one more. I don't want to say we save the best for last, because everyone has been just great, awesome, but we're thankful. Right. We want to make sure that we give this brother some time. Now, I'll admit this. I'll go ahead and say this, Elder Preston. I know all of us will agree that I know you all see all the flashing things, the lighting. You all see the nice looking faces on the bottom of the screen and the wonderful introduction videos. We would like to take credit for that. We can't. We don't do these things by ourselves. And tonight we have got just a media giant, a tech guru in the space with us, because we do know, Elder Preston, that churches have got to make an extreme makeover with our tech, with our media. And so we're excited to have Kirk Nugent here with us in space. Kirk, man, many of us call you the sensei, but we're glad to have you, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well, man. And let me tell you, this has been phenomenal. Spaces like this that you create, this platform, using this platform and allowing people to engage around these very critical discussions. This is what it's all about. It's amazing. It's amazing. And if I could just make one comment as we begin, I know our time is far spent, but there was a question earlier about how do we get people motivated to learn the tech? How do we get people who otherwise kind of count themselves out already? How do we get them to really put their hands around that thing. And to be clear, I want to just affirm what has been shared. Several others, I mean, some really tech gurus you've had on here already, man. But one of the things that I have found is whenever I hear somebody say, I'm not a tech guru, I'm not a media specialist, I don't really do social media like that. What I'm actually hearing them say is they haven't found their motivation yet. Because the tech is a tool, and if you don't hear me say anything else, the technology is a tool. It's not the end goal. It's never been. It is a tool, and so the question now becomes, what's on the other side of that tool? So you give a carpenter a hammer and a chisel, and he's got a piece of wood there. He's got tools. What is he going to make with it? The tools are not the point. The tools are put in your hand for you to do something with it. And so when you find your motivation, right? If somebody finds their passion, they find their purpose, they're going to figure out whatever is in their way in order for them to be successful at that passion or that purpose. A lot of us want to kind of reverse that thing and say, how can we just sit out there and train them? You can train all day, but they will not be motivated to learn and master that thing until they have their purpose, until they figure out that why.
Listen, Kirk, man, we appreciate that, and I think that's important because we have over 250 folk watching right now, and I would say a lot of them are saying I'm not as tech savvy, so the purpose makes a difference. But
it does.
A lot of us got a chance to know you really through the pandemic. We see your handiwork on a lot of different things and spaces, but now churches and conferences are making this switch. They're bringing you in to talk about some of these changes. Take just a few moments and talk to us how the tech space ties in and why we need this for evangelism moving forward.
Man, it's exponential. It's exponential reach, exponential growth, exponential exposure. When I think about the Bible, when I think about Bible times, I think about the disciples. I think about their efforts to spread the gospel. I often wonder what they would have done with the internet. I often wonder what they would have done with opportunities like social media, where people are literally just scrolling. I wonder what they would have done with platforms like Google. Do you know what the number one search term on Google is? It's purpose. It's been purpose for the last couple of years. Number one search term. I wonder if the Adventist Church has anything to say on purpose, right? And see, here's the thing, though. We've got to be in the digital spaces answering a question. We've got to go and answer a question. What I've learned in 10 months time on YouTube, growing my channel from 60 subscribers to now almost 2,500. What I've learned is 3 things to be successful. Number 1, you've got to be consistent. You can't show up willingly. You can't show up half the time. You can't say, I'm going to be here next week and then not be there. You've got to be consistent. You've got to actually be present, and you've got to engage with your audience. So number 1, you got to be consistent. Number 2, you've got to answer a question. You've got to answer a question. Folks are not searching randomly for nonsense. They're actually searching because they want to answer a question. And so if you're not answering a question, I'm sorry, they're not checking out your stuff. They're moving on to the next thing. So when they get to your live stream and they see the doxology, you don't have to invite me back. When they get to your live stream and they hear you talking about announcements that are really just for the people who are in your specific body, why is it out on the internet? When they get to your live stream and you're using jargon that is specific to the Adventist faith community, faith tradition, we don't understand what you're talking about. They feel put off. They know this is not for them because you told them it's not for them. You're not answering a question. You haven't done the search engine optimization for your stuff to show up when they're searching for their questions. So they leave. You've got to answer a question. You got to be specific and intentional about answering a question. And that does not happen overnight. The third thing, this is the third thing, the last thing, and this is what I found. You've got to be vulnerable, fam. I mean, I don't, I mean, who doesn't know that more than the church? You have got to be vulnerable. One of the things I like to tell folks is the reason why I'm able to share with you from a place of expertise, from a place of authority, what you can do to level up your live stream is because I've fallen flat on my face. And I have no problem sharing that with you. I have failed abjectly multiple times over and over, and I can help you not to fail. And that's why you come back to my channel. And that's why you click the subscribe button. And that's why we will grow together as a community, because I'm not only consistent, I'm not only answering your question, but you can resonate with me. You see yourself in me. You know that I am not here just to say, hey, I've got it right, I've got it perfect, so look at me. No, I'm here to tell you I failed. I failed miserably. I failed often, but I failed forward and I failed fast. I got back up and I dusted myself off, learned the right way to do it. And then I said, hey, you know what's the best way for me to solidify what I've learned? Teach somebody else.
Yeah. Abernathy, you got something?
Yeah. I just got a comment based on what he was saying. You know, we need to use media, obviously, in this COVID era, for an evangelism tool. But I think one of the issues is we've been using the wrong bait. We've been using bait to attract what we already have in the church. But if we want to get outside the four walls and attract people that need to hear the word of God, what is the bait that we're using? So, it really triggered me when you said, the doxology or the different Adventist jargon, not to off-put our people that are in the church and not to say that they are not important. What is our main objective? Are we seeking to save more Adventists, or are we seeking to save people that don't know about the God that we serve? So, the bait that we're using is absolutely necessary.
Somebody said it earlier. Let me say this. Somebody said it earlier. You've got to identify what you're trying to achieve. I think it was Dr. Carter. She said, "What is your strategic plan?" So as you're building a YouTube channel, as I was on Clubhouse, and they were talking about how do you create membership for your YouTube channel, right? As you're doing that, one of the guys says, this is copy paste. I'm not actually changing the verbiage whatsoever. This is what they said to this guy. He's got 15,000 subscribers on YouTube. And he was like, what should I do in my membership program? Should I give them, tips and tricks and tools, extras? What should I give them? And one lady said to him, don't make it so complicated. The people who are going to sign up for your membership program and pay to be in your membership program are paying to be close to the creator. Okay. Yeah, that's good. They want to be close to the creator. For us, we've got to differentiate between in-reach and outreach. It's okay to not click the live button on your Zoom meeting for your local church, and you stay in your Zoom meeting and you have your doxology and you have your good old Adventist good time. Okay. Because to be clear, that's cultural. That's what we're used to. That's what we love. And hey, if you want to scratch that itch, do it. Just recognize that is not going to be a draw for somebody who's out there.
Yeah.
We just need to be honest about that thing and differentiate. Don't try to make one live service meet both needs.
That's
you see,
good.
help yourself by separating it. Help yourself by separating it.
Wow.
That's good.
Like that. So, Kirk, tell me, how, as a church, as a small church, I don't have all this equipment. So, how do I get into the ministry? How do I get into the ministry, and why should I get into the ministry?
Couple of things here, Doc. So you said I'm a small church, and how do I get in here to do this thing? Let me be clear. I want to set somebody free real quick. Number one, it doesn't require the entire church to go online to do ministry. So I'll take me, for example. I just decided one day I'm going to start a YouTube channel. There was no committee action. Nobody said aye. There was no second. You understand what I'm saying? I just decided, because of the unique call God had placed on my life, I wanted to be obedient. And see, this is what I feel like a lot of folks in the pews are waiting for the church to set up this system so that they can plug in and quote unquote be effective. But God is calling all of us to be stewards of the unique skills and talents he has given to us, and stewards of the story he is writing. He's not done yet, but pieces of it will help others who are behind you on this journey. And so if you struggle with imposter syndrome like I do, if you have OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, kind of like I do, guess what? Those are platforms and spaces you can create where others can come and learn from what you're doing to cope with those things.
Yeah.
This does not have to be a vote. This doesn't need a budget. You just need to get out there and create that space. And let me tell you, the resources will follow, especially if you're being obedient. Now, if you're not called in that way, then listen, be careful. Be careful. But for the churches who feel called, there's a church, I was doing a conference, and I was saying, what if there was a church that put together a series where each week they released a video on a YouTube channel that was properly named. Okay, so it's not named, Kirk Nugent Seventh-day Adventist Church of Huntsville, Alabama. That's not the name.
Yeah.
Okay. If they created a channel and they decided we're going to put on this channel stories of vulnerability, stories of struggle.
Wow.
My name is Kirk Nugent, and I struggle with imposter syndrome. I often feel like I'm just not good enough. What if you put up a channel like that? Now, I said this at a conference, and there's a church that actually did it. And that channel is doing very well right now. Why is it doing well? Because you're real, because you're consistent, and you're vulnerable, and because you're answering a question. Because they're not just telling folks, I struggle with X. They're saying, I struggled with X.
Right.
And so now here is the blueprint for getting over
liberty.
So for whatever church that's out there, like I work with a church in and let me not even say the name of the area because it was an Alcoholics Anonymous group, but 30% of the church was recovering alcoholics, fam. So what did they do? They created a space for recovering alcoholics,
serving the needs.
It doesn't have to be rocket science. What I want to say, because I know a lot of folks are like, this guy came on here to talk about tech. He ain't talking about tech. High tech must be informed by high touch. I don't care what you are going to do in the technology space. If you want somebody to come to your virtual meeting, invite them. Here's how you invite them. What was the brother that was on earlier, Family Life, Pastor Preston. My church is doing something on family life. Me and my wife, we're struggling in this area, bro. Now I'm talking to a friend. Me and my wife are going to go and attend virtually. Why don't you come with me? You see, the issue for us is we want to present the invitation as if you are broken and I have the answer.
Yeah, that's
You've got to present the invitation in a way that allows people to see we can mutually benefit. Let us grow together. Let us grow together. Let us grow together. And that is a successful invitation. You will find your virtual events packed because you've allowed high tech to be informed by high touch.
Yeah, that's keys right there. That's keys. That's awesome. Kirk, today has been great. We want to end with you, of course, Elder Preston. Final thoughts for Kirk before we wrap up.
No, he said it all.
Today has been good. Kirk, thank you so much for taking time.
Thank you.
Panelists. For those that don't know, we have the Extreme Makeover is not possible without Kirk Nugent. Really.
Oh wow.
In terms of being online and the streams and him meeting with us, and we just appreciate you, man, for being a part. We had to bring the man from behind the scenes onto the screen with us today. Kirk, I want to do this for you. How can people get in touch with you for what you do, your training for churches? Share with us real quick.
I'm KirkNugentSpeaks.com. KirkNugentSpeaks.com. Go there. I can be booked right there. KirkNugentSpeaks.com. info@KirkNugentSpeaks.com. Any of the above works. So yes, and be careful. There is another Kirk Nugent out there. So just be careful. He's a good guy. I know him personally, but KirkNugentSpeaks.com is my site. His is KirkNugent.com.
There we go. Doc, thanks so much for being a part today, man. We appreciate it. We're thankful and grateful that you're on with us today, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, gentlemen, Elder Preston, final thoughts as we get ready to wrap up. Let me first say to Pastor Abernathy, Pastor Kely, thank you for being on with us today, guys. We appreciate you all being a part for our panel. We're going to wrap up now. We're going to ask it just be me, Elder Scott, and Elder Preston as we kind of wrap this thing up today. Elder Preston, the floor is yours as you close us out.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful. And we praise God for this afternoon. I want to thank the team. I want to thank Scott and Humphreys and the panel, Kely and Abernathy, and those who were on last night, Nelson, for putting this all together and making this happen. Church family, all we're trying to do is find means and ways in which you can present the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's our mission. That is our mission. As a church, our mission is to share what the Master has given us to a dying world. And we need methods and ways in which to do it. We presented 10. We know that you may not capitalize on all 10 of them, but use what you can. And by the way, if you have something that you want to share with us, let us know so that we can share it with the entire conference.
Let us know.
We are just here doing what we're supposed to do, trying to foster the gospel of Jesus Christ in a dying world. This is not all. I'm going to ask you to write down a date. We're going to be coming back. We'll be announcing this within the next 2 or 3 weeks, and that is Extreme Makeover Customer Service.
That's it.
Extreme Makeover Customer Service. We've got an understanding of friendship evangelism. Now we have tools. With all these folks coming, how are we going to handle it? And sometimes we need to be careful that we don't get in our own way. And so we want to teach and talk about customer service one Sabbath afternoon. But then jot this date down, July the 18th through July the 31st, a conference-wide evangelistic meeting with Dr. I'm trying to think of his first name. Debonair Snell from First Church in Huntsville, Alabama. He will be our guest speaker. But we'll be talking more and more about it. But write it down. Every church could just tune in. That's all you have to do. Tune in, invite your friends, your families, whoever you want to invite. And we're going to have a full-scale evangelistic meeting. But we'll be talking more and more about it in the very near future. But our next presentation, and we'll be announcing the date within 2 weeks, Extreme Makeover Customer Service, and the July Extreme Makeover Customer Service. That's our next one. And then our conference-wide evangelistic meeting, July the 18th through the 31st. Hey, and God is going to bless us with souls because we're going to put to work the things we've learned over the last 2 sessions.
Elder Preston, we're going to get ready to bring on Elder Winston in just a moment to just kind of send us off. But before we do that, we've got some giveaways to give away. Those who are still with us, we've had over 250 watching live online today. We see you on Facebook. I want to give a shout out to Sister Sarah Elliott, who I think I saw her put it out at least 10 times. And so, sis, because of your persistence and your faithfulness, we're gonna get you $50 in your account, $50 going toward you. That's going to be for you. We're also going to give another $50 to Brother Gregory Guy Jr. Gregory Guy Jr. We thank you for putting out there that you have been you have subscribed. So we'll make sure we take care of you there. And then finally, Roberta Abernathy. Roberta Abernathy, if you are watching, Roberta Abernathy, if you are watching, you have received the other $50. We're thankful and grateful. Let's bring our leader back on. Elder Winston is with us. Elder Winston, we're about to close. We cannot close without a word from you. So, Doc, thank you for being a part and give us your final thoughts. Elder Winston, come off mute for just a moment.
There we go. How about now?
We got you.
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Start to finish. Thank you to all of our presenters today. Thank you again to our host and those who have joined us. Thank you. I trust that there's some nuggets that you have left with today that you say, hey, I can do that. I can advance the kingdom of God because God has given me that gift and that talent. So thank you for being here today. We're going to be back, as Elder Preston said. And the ultimate thing is souls for the kingdom and being prepared for the return of our Lord Jesus Christ. So sometime you are going to have to answer the question, if our churches are closed and padlocked and all of those things, how are we getting people into church? How are we baptizing people? How are we receiving them? Somebody needs to answer that question for me. I need to know that because there may be people even now who want to be a part of the church. So tell us how we do that and let us know what we do with a closed church and a padlocked church, how we bring people into the kingdom of God. But thank you.
Elder, we're going to open up the church and baptize some folks. Every pastor, all you have to do is contact the pastor in the local area.
Yes,
and
sir.
there are guidelines that have been given already to teach us how to do a baptism during this COVID period.
Yes,
so
sir.
Listen, we will not let a virus shut down the kingdom of God. No way.
Hey,
We will. Listen, our God will find a way. So you contact your local pastor.
The water is being troubled. The water is trouble.
Hey, someone put down the Jordan River. Someone's gonna get it. Someone's gonna get
Heal
in.
my body, but not my soul. Huh?
We are still receiving people into the kingdom of God through His church and through baptism. That's a good thing to know. So thank you for that. But thank all of you. It's been a very good day, a good way to end a wonderful Sabbath. And I look forward to our next time together so that we can learn a little bit about customer service. Yes. I worked at a customer service industry years ago, and it took me a while to embrace their message. Their message was the customer is always right.
That's it.
Really? They said so I'm looking forward to customer service. Thank you again. We appreciate everything. God bless you.
Thank you everybody for being a part. We're getting ready to go. For those who won the money, we will reach out to you via Facebook. We will find you. We will get in touch with you. We're gonna check to make sure you're subscribed if you really hit the button. But look for messages, look for more information. We will see you guys next time for customer service. On behalf of myself and South Atlantic Conference, we just want to say thank you for watching us. We'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
God bless.